So people often ask me, what is sex addiction? They say, is just liking to have sex a lot sex addiction? And no, liking to have sex is not sex addiction. We're all human, and God created us to be sexual people, so that is not sex addiction. Sex addiction, there's actually criteria to meet to reach the level of addiction. And there's a lot of controversy about the term sex addiction, and I don't really care what we call it, whether it's addiction or sexual compulsivity or behavior that's causing you harm. I mean, however you want to refer to it is fine with me, but there is a criteria. Now, one of the controversies is that sex addiction did not make it into the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual. It almost did. It made it to the final cut, and then it was cut out. There's lots of reasons, whether it be insurance companies or that people weren't ready for it. There's lots of people have lots of ideas of the reason for it. What I'll say about that is that something similar to sex addiction, they call it something else, did make it into the international version, the ICD-11. And there is sexual compulsivity in the ICD-11, and it's also recognized in the American Society of Addiction Medicine. So 2 out of the 3 bodies do recognize something similar to sex addiction, and when we diagnose, we're using the criteria that would be similar to like drug addiction, alcohol addiction, food addiction, gambling addiction, which are all in the DSM-5. So what they've done is they've taken that diagnostic criteria and they've modified it, and when we do the assessments, we're assessing for the criteria that would be similar to any other kind of process or chemical or process addiction. So what the criteria we're looking for are things like, if you find yourself preoccupied and you can't stop thinking about it, let's say you see someone when you're walking around Green Lake and you start obsessing or thinking about that person, and next thing you know you're thinking about the porn you looked at last night and you can't quit thinking about it, or that you lose a lot of time and you decide you're going to look at pornography for 10 minutes and next thing you know you've lost an hour, or that your behaviors are creating consequences in your life, that it's hurt your marriage, or it's hurt your job, or you've lost your job, or you're not spending time with your kids, or you're not doing the things you're supposed to be doing. So you're not showing up for things in life, you're not picking up your kids when you're supposed to, you're not going on date night, you're calling and work late at work, it's distracting from your life, or you've gotten caught and you keep doing it and you can't stop. You've tried to stop and you can't stop. What you're looking at or what you're doing, it no longer has the same impact that it used to. You used to get a high off of either looking at porn or, going to a certain kind of prostitute or going to a bikini barista, and then it just no longer does it for you anymore. You find yourself doing more and more things that you wouldn't normally do. These are the kind of criteria we're looking for to meet the level of addiction. It isn't just because you like sex.